So, in this video, we are going to talk about compassion, and we're going to take a look at it from the perspective of that it's very important on the spiritual path. How do you see that, Alexandra?
Yeah, compassion is not to be mistaken, first of all, with empathy. Like I can have empathy for somebody who's going through something, and compassion, it means something different to me. It means just really feeling or being with what somebody is experiencing. And of course, not getting lost in that either. But for example, I heard this example where when somebody falls and you start saying, well, that was his karma or her karma, that is a lack of compassion on the spiritual path, even though the concept is there of karma to explain that some of our actions will have a resonance back into our own life. We cannot just kind of point it out and being the wise people that we think we are when we say this.
Yeah, compassion also, if you want to look at it from the perspective of being with someone, yeah, if you're being present with someone, you have to go, in my opinion, into a certain resonance, yeah. And this is also why the suffering of another person can bring tears to our eyes. And to me, there's also one aspect that's coming into this. This is like the universal love. I'm not talking about personal love here. I'm talking about something that's universal and underlying and connecting everyone, basically. So it's, if you see the suffering of somebody else, this can deeply touch you. And it does not, if it's real compassion, make you suffer, but it's a resonance, and from your part, the being present with it, that actually brings more consciousness to the situation and into the situation if you're being present with a person.
Yeah, it brings me to that point where I think some people find it really difficult to experience all these feelings, like when you see the world and when you see people in this world, and you go down the street and you see an old woman or an old man, finding it difficult to walk. You see a beggar on the street, you see somebody who is handicapped, whatever it is, like there is these ways where people feel so intensely for other people. They find it too much and they withdraw from that. And I don't, do you think that is compassion, Richard, or not?
There are many aspects to this. So there are sometimes people just get flooded or with emotions, and they're uh, get so much stuff triggered, and so much story and drama in themselves gets triggered, yeah. So if you're just in your own story and drama, you cannot really have compassion, like on a deep level, because this is, you're just adding to the drama, yeah. And you can also see it like this: if you're working on your stuff and on your things, then you're not adding to the collective drama. There's also a collective consciousness going on
Mm.
this world. And so basically, if you want to do something for the world, work on your stuff. Work on the parts, on the dark parts inside of yourself. Look at them and then see how much compassion you can have with other people.
Mm. Yeah. I was just thinking, I had this injury and it made me made it really hard for me to move easily like I should in normal life, like even getting up from a chair, getting up out of bed. It was really like a move by move by move by move moment. It took minutes in my own mind, and it made me so aware of how there someone in my life who I know well has suffered from severe injuries to the spine and been living with that all her life and having difficulties to move. And I would say, it gave me a really good taste of what's going on in that person's life and gave me really a moment of compassion. So my suffering was her suffering at the same time, and it felt like I could connect to that person more. And it was a glimpse of compassion of how brave people can be with their lives, even though they live with these situations for a long time, and then we're kind of seeking to get out of our head stories. Oh, we got to help her, we got to do this, oh, I can't watch this. This is really difficult as a human being to see somebody suffering on a longer stretch, just more than just falling down and banging their knee open or anything. And that is, I think, where spirituality also starts for me, in that kind of moment of, okay, this person needs to go, is going in their life through these things, and how can I bring compassion to it while I also know I don't know the divine plan for that person. So that's what I want to say. Not I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing. Sometimes it's also not easy to have compassion with the hurt parts inside ourselves. If we can really have compassion with these parts, that's a very big part of healing.
So how are you throwing this back at me? I'm not, what did trigger that? Can you elaborate a little bit more? Because it feels connected and disconnected from mind pattern.
I see it like this, that you can only really have compassion with other people if you have compassion with yourself. Because if you cannot have compassion with these hurt parts in yourself, how should you really open up to the pain that's out there in the world? Because you don't even want to have, you cannot have compassion with the pain inside yourself.
Of course. Yeah.
So
Mm.
to bring more also love and compassion to these parts is a very good starting point if you want to start with a, let's call it, internal process. And then you can practice to go more out into the world.
So yeah, compassion is it's never out of fashion.
Definitely. Okay. Folks, thanks for listening and viewing. And yeah,
Yeah,
see you
let
in the
us
next
know what
video.
you think.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Let
can
us know
comment.
what you think.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.